Hello! Yes, we're on. I wasn't sure then. Welcome to VT Talk. On Wednesday, what is it? It's got to be about the 6th of March or something. 2013. Now, if you've tuned in tonight to see Dave Dorn, I'm afraid he hasn't been able to make it. We got a message from him just before he used up his 3G bandwidth allowance. He's having some unscheduled building surprises, I believe, and consequently doesn't have a reliable internet connection tonight, and indeed electricity, which isn't funny. But he did yesterday, I think it was, last night. He managed to put some pictures up on Google Plus, which you can now also see, because, basically they depict his misery at the moment, and, this may be in bad taste, but you can also now see them on facebook.com/Vapor Trails TV. And I also made this little VT. Here we go, have a look at this. Yeah, so there you go. Now, if you are somehow watching this, maybe in McDonald's or something, Dave, we promise not to screw up your show too badly. So, because just to compound the technical strife, I had to step in to present the show, which is great. I enjoy doing that. However, at the moment that I got the message, I was halfway through moving round my room that I do all my broadcasting from, so it's a little bit jury-rigged, and we can put out a show, I'm sure of that, but we're probably stretched to our technical limits. I think that's a tactful way of putting it, but it's all good, So I'm joined tonight on the show, first of all, by Andy Sutton.
Hi.
He's just putting the cap on something there. Say hi, you already did.
I have done it. It's on.
That's
I'm
great.
ready.
Okay, get off screen. And, as normal, we can't accept tonight any Skype call-ins, unfortunately, because, like I say, I've got everything running to the max here. I'm looking at 5 big monitors and 3 little monitors and an iPad and all the rest of it, and they're all busy and full. So I'm afraid we can't have any Skypings, but we are interested, perhaps on this episode of VT Talk more than any other that preceded it, we are really interested in any material, questions you may be able to offer from chat. And to help us with that, in her regular place. In fact, actually, I've given her the biggest monitor that I've got, actually. Say hi, Sav.
Hello.
So Sav will be taking your questions and trying to relay them to us, and we probably won't mess it up too badly. Probably. Now, if Dave Dorn were here at this stage, he'd probably say something like this.
This is VT Talk.
Yes, there we go. So, here we go. Right, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Andy, it's you.
Hi.
There we go. So I've got to look at this camera. That's it. Not that one, that one. How's your week been, Andy?
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty busy. I'm once again find myself at work editing more food programs. And pretty good. I spotted another vapor in the wild while I went out for lunch.
I'm interrupting you there because I just noticed I was talking to myself on screen. It's quite funny from 2 different camera angles. But now all is well.
Okay.
Didn't take long to screw that up, did it?
Yeah, Dave, don't worry. You're in safe hands.
Do I
Honestly,
look
we'll
worried?
be good.
Do I look worried? I didn't mean to. Sorry, Andy. Carry on.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, so I saw a vapor in the wild and did have a chat with him because after the last one, I thought I'll start to get some sort of strange reputation of talking to men on street corners. And but a new editor started this week, and he came downstairs and he saw my array of e-cigs on the desk. I think I had a lava tube, an MVP, and my silver bullet. Both, with a different selection of rebuildables and carto tanks and things like that on them. And he sort of looked at them, questioning what they were. And he asked the question, and I went into my normal patter, explaining that I've removed all the bad stuff from the smoking experience, and I switched 3 years ago and haven't lit up a traditional cigarette since. And he said, "So you're still getting the nicotine?" And I said, "Yes, I am. Yeah." And he said, "So you're still an addict?" And that and I don't really think of. Well, I don't know. I am addicted, but I think there are different levels of addiction, and I suppose I don't class myself. I don't know. What do you class yourself as an addict?
Well, I don't know whether you bothered to watch that little VT I did a couple of months back now for Mark Green's show for Vapor Scene, where I was wandering around with the camera and rabbiting about my vaping journey and something. And it really was kind of rambling. Journey, yes. And I did actually make a comment about that. I kind of expressed that when I'm explaining to people that it's not a quick method. If you take up e-cigs, you keep your addiction, and I actually didn't realise until I was editing that back and everything that I'd actually made the comment something that I feel quite uncomfortable. I commented that I was quite uncomfortable saying so, but
no, absolutely.
To answer your question, and I've done it again. Put me and me on the screen. There we go. I'm just not capable of multitasking. I don't know why I bother sometimes. But yeah, to answer your question, we're addicts, I guess.
Well, I think that's what, after having that brief discussion, which went off in a direction that normally people that I've just met, don't go that way. Yeah. Because, we just met. I agree with you. So that's closed that conversation.
You reckon?
Well, let's throw it to chat. Let's see what they think.
Yeah, I've got some comments from chat. Madrid said no, he's not an addict, but he likes the taste. Ratfinks has said, "I'm definitely an addict and not ashamed to say so." Jill CB says, "Yes, I'm a Nick addict and a caffeine addict and proud." And Egomaniac says, "Sure, technically I'm an addict, just the same as coffee quaffers and energy drink swillers."
Exactly. I made the awful thing. I sort of said, "Well, I'm addicted to coffee," and the first thing that came out, I said cheese. It's all relative, isn't it? It's how much harm that addiction does to you, I think. And considering that I've used these for 3 years, less than the alternative.
Is it possible to be addicted to cheese, really?
Yes.
Well, if you melt it down and then inject it, I would think you are addicted. I don't do that, by the way. I don't want any.
If you're doing it intravenously.
Don't any cheese manufacturers start sending me, the hard stuff.
So the general consensus there, Sav, I think, was that people say yes, they're quite happy to admit, yes, they are addicted.
Yep.
Fair enough. Okay. Hey, we did that topic in record speed.
Yeah. Well, also, Kerry has just said, "Does food count as an addiction?" And
or oxygen, for that matter.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, I love a bit of oxygen flavoured with nicotine.
Don't do that intravenously either, actually, while we're on the subject.
No, you're horrible embolism. Lovely.
Yes, MG Jones, our very own Marcus, just said, "I'm addicted to breathing. Tried to give it up, but it makes me feel weird."
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. So that that was kind of the end of the conversation then, I guess. He said, "Are you still addicted?" And you said yes.
Yeah, I sort of stuck up for a bit, though. You know, and he actually ended by saying, "Good, because there aren't enough of you guys around." Okay.
What, addicts or people who admit they're addicted? Do you think?
No, because smoking is mostly, I think people agree, is declining.
Yeah.
So he'd met a different kind of person.
Was he a smoker himself?
No, he used to be a long time ago, but
Right.
had packed up years ago. So
I see.
I would think I was looked at as sort of a novelty.
Okay. All right then.
Which I'm happy to be.
Yeah.
Also, if anybody watched Broadchurch on ITV on Monday, 9 o'clock, it's a new drama series that started up. And I think I might have spotted the lady who runs the news, the newspaper, with an e-cig in her hand. I don't know if anybody else saw it and noticed her as well. But and that's been making me think about, you know, e-cigs and their representation in the media, really, in terms of that their representation has become a lot more casual, you know, whereas before you would see somebody using them and it would have to be pointed out that what is that you're using? I am using an electronic nicotine delivery device.
Yeah, you immediately think of the Johnny Depp thing, don't you? The scene on the train.
Exactly,
and, what's
exactly.
That? And he explains what it is and everything.
Yeah. I mean, you know, so if they can casually drop in an electronic cigarette in a mainstream drama, shot in Clevedon, I add, then, and if I'd have known, I'd have popped down there and given her a silver bullet or something.
A decent one.
Yeah. So that's it, really.
Well,
for me this week.
I mean,
bye.
A little while back, we were talking about these ads that are running on the mainstream TV now as well, and they're probably having some kind of effect if people are starting to figure out what they are, of course.
No, absolutely. They're so obscure that it does make you, and that's why they're so good in terms of their viral catch, is that you are forced to Google it, basically. I mean, you know, it relies on the fact that the internet is only literally just, you know, normally on the arm of your sofa.
Yeah.
So
it occurs to me that what we probably need is some kind of short documentary or something on mainstream TV. I'm not sure what sort of vehicle you'd use to transmit it. I mean, what sort of program you put it out on. But it would be good to see some kind of lifestyle sort of piece, you know, or documentary.
No, absolutely. I mean, the one show would be ideal, or Radio 2 do an innovations hour, not an hour, but a segment on drive time. And that's every night of the week. So, you know, I've often thought that a vendor or a manufacturer should get on there, because for us, it's not an innovation. It's just something that we love doing and we've known about, and we sort of, I mean, the situation with the EU has sort of brought to the fore that we might lose it. So we're more driven to get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But for the majority of people, as the person who came down into my edit suite today and said, "What the heck's that?" You know, it will be an innovation for those people. So there are ways of getting it out there. So I'd encourage anybody who needs that sort of coverage to spread the word.
Normalise is the word.
Normalise is a good term.
Yeah, the more that people see these things in use, then the more commonplace they'll be. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across to Sav now, if I can, because it's a bit far away for me to read, but it looks like there might be a thing or two coming up in chat there.
Yeah, we've got a few bits and pieces. Mark Shaw and Kat have both pointed out that the one show were asking for people who were quitting smoking to get in touch tonight, because apparently they're looking to do a show for No Smoking Day. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And I had a question came in from Lee, who said, "I found reformed smokers far more against e-cigs than non-smokers. Why do you think that would be?" That's
a damn fine question.
From this guy that came down, who I didn't realise until I asked the question, you know, have you been a smoker? And there is certainly an attitude of, well, I quit, why can't you? And when you point out the fact that you don't want to, and I didn't really want to quit smoking, so you know, that's the reason. But they if you take that away from, let's take for example the whole, is an e-cig a path to quitting?
Yeah.
When that came up, that caused quite a lot of discussion in the forums and stuff like that, and I took that reaction to it as e-cigs in a way represent a very proud moment in people's life, in that they have stopped using conventional tobacco cigarettes. So in saying that you are not a quitter if you use one of these, is sort of taking away somebody's proudest life event.
Yeah.
So I think that's why
I think you're onto
smokers,
something there. Yeah, I think you're onto something. It's kind of trivialising what they consider is a big achievement, I guess.
Absolutely, and I think that is the attitude. If someone has quit smoking before they knew about these things, that they didn't know that there was an alternative to smoking, then it's a slight one-upmanship to the person who's still an addict.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's that old saying as well, isn't there? That there's nothing worse than a reformed smoker, and it's true actually. And I'll be honest. It's a characteristic that you do see in vapors as well, because a lot of vapors do consider that they've quit smoking. Regardless of the message we'd like to portray to the MHRA and the medical authorities, people do believe that they have ceased smoking when they're vapors. And there can be quite an anti sort of smoking sentiment that you see from vapors as well. I do see that, and it's something I don't really subscribe to myself. But
no, absolutely not.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else there from chat, Sav, I've
got a couple of comments regarding the ex-smokers. Jeff Bennion has said ex-smokers. He thinks they're annoyed that we can carry on enjoying things and they can't.
Yeah.
Jill CB has said there is definitely more of an attitude from ex-smokers compared with non-smokers. Ratfink said, my mum was well chuffed when I started on e-cigs, then she went cold turkey and now I get nagged to stop the e-cigs. And Blackwater Vapor has said, I was verbally attacked by an ex-smoker when I was using a cigarette, so I held it against my skin and horrified them.
Lovely. Right, well, I'm going to call a halt just at that point, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a minute and a bit or something. So we'll be right back.
iVapor and iVapor Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iVapor.co.uk and iVapor-elixir.co.uk. iVapor and iVapor-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of VaporTrails.tv.
And welcome back. Right, so that was good. That was good. Now, what we want to do tonight is we want to get chat as involved as we possibly can. So I'm not saying that Andy will attempt anything you suggest in chat tonight, but let's hear your questions. Get them out there, and Sav will will fire them along. You should see Andy's face. In fact, here's Andy's face. So.
What? No, it's fine.
It's kind of a sort of freestyle approach tonight, which is not the same as badly prepared and unscripted. I'd just like to emphasise that. But if you could see the flash queue on this computer, I've never had a flash queue before, but tonight it's enormous. So something in that hasty setup is not quite right.
It's causing about a technical headache.
Can I just check that this is streaming out okay? I gather my audio was a bit low. I've upped that a little bit now. But can I ask the chat, is this streaming out okay, or is it stuttering, or does it look okay? And whilst, because there'll be a bit of a delay with that flash queue, I guess.
Looks okay here.
Yeah, Safer 6 Daz says it's perfect.
Okay, that's cool. Looks like the computer's dealing with it. I think.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think we may have quite a high quality recording to put onto YouTube and the podcast later. So,
It's probably in 3D as well.
It might as well be. It's so far away.
Right, we'll have our
So I
first
can't
request
see
for
the
Andy.
dares flooding in.
I've got one.
Oh no.
Shoot.
It came from our very own Vaping Daz, and he says, Andy, can you show our new viewers your reaction to 45mg bite extra, please?
Oh, that'd be nice. Do you happen to have any handy, Andy?
I really like Daz.
Liked.
No, it's just,
was that, yeah?
Yeah, liked. I'm gonna dip into the show bag. Now, in answer to the question, it's not 45mg. I've got some juice in here, yes, and it's Bite Extra. It's almost like they hate me. Hold on. Do chat want a selection of flavors, or shall I just pick one at random? Selection of flavours in here.
What do you reckon, Sav?
I'll read them out, and then we can see if any.
What's the nastiest sounding one you've got? Just out of interest.
No, they were. Somebody got the impression at Flavour Art UK that I like nutty juices, so they're all along that sort of line. So I've got Blackjack Vintage. I've got Golden Roly. I've got Espresso Nutzilla. I've got
Espresso Nutzilla. That sounds good.
Yeah,
it does, doesn't it?
My vote.
Bountiful and RY4 Nutzilla, which I believe, Mr. Kitson, you described as a work of genius.
It pretty much is, yeah. I would
Okay. Well, shall I do that one? RY4 Nutzilla.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
To start with.
Now, to start with, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nutzilla's getting the shout out in chat.
Which one? Sorry, Sav.
Nutzilla.
Nutzilla. Okay, and it's going to be on the iGo L, which you will also see on the not this week's but next week's SOS show. Little plug in there. Right, and I'm okay. So this is a work of genius.
I think so.
Now, did you try the Bite Extra?
Yes, they're all Bite Extra, the ones I had, yes.
Are they?
Yeah.
How did you react to it then?
The very first drag, I thought I was going to die.
Right, okay.
And then I realised, you approach this slightly differently.
Now, don't tell me how to approach it differently, because I don't want to...
Oh, I've no intention of, no.
Okay, so this is on about a 1.8 ohm that I made myself, and at about for 4.6.
Just before you do, can I have your camera?
It's nutty
It sure
and
is.
caramelly. Yes. Oh, it just gets you right there.
It certainly does. It certainly does. You have to treat that.
Okay,
You have
tell
to
me.
treat that Bite Extra stuff with a little bit of respect, So
I don't want to. I just want to be able to suck it down and enjoy the flavour.
Yeah, but this is why I maintain it's the closest thing to smoking a cigarette that I've tried to date. you've kind of got to take the vapour into your mouth and inhale it the way you used to smoke.
I've forgotten how.
I suggest you remember.
Yeah.
If you're going to continue, and you can't like go straight back to it as often as you do with what I would call a regular juice. You really do. You take a few puffs and you put it down for a bit.
I can't do that though. I can't. I'm an addict.
You're gonna hate our chat then, Andy.
Oh no, go on.
They're requesting be a man, nose hit, please.
Nose hit. Was the request, yeah.
No, yes. I don't know. No, because I get this because when I tried the 45 when I was on Mr. Dorn's show before, I thought it was the nicotine, but it is just. I thought you could get this without the Bite Extra.
I think you can, can't you?
Oh, okay.
I think you can.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try nose hit first, and then I'll try to remember how to smoke. See, that's all right, but it just feels like you're sort of got. Yeah, it's just that chili hits just the back of your throat.
It's good, isn't it?
That's not that bad. I find lung inhale, mouth inhale, then suck it down into the lungs, and then exhale. It's on the exhale it gets me, and it's just I suppose it just takes practice.
I'm watching.
No, it was on the way. Hold on. Oh look, and I've only got that much drink left.
So while Andy has a drink,
Sav, have you got any?
No.
Do chat have any more sort of constructive sort of challenges for Andy?
They haven't got anything.
This isn't the Punish Andy hour. This is supposed to be a political catch.
I've got. I'll just excuse me while I walk across the camera. I've got some 45 milligram.
Nose. I just saw that in chat. That's not fair. Who said that? Knows it? No, Gary. Gary knows.
Would it maybe in my coat pocket? The one I normally use. Let me just.
No. And the worst thing is
this might be Nutzilla actually. Yeah, this is RY4 Nutzilla in here, but it's a bit sort of plugged up. I haven't used this for a while. So I have a few of these little ellipse things, which I shall hold to the camera.
No, they look good. What another one I've missed.
Well, you see, I mean, you would, I'm sure, accept that while you're using that juice, you're going to have a lot less of it.
Almost none.
Well, I found that while I was travelling around and what have you, that I would use my e-cig with the same frequencies I used to light up a cigarette.
Right.
And I'd take, I don't know, maybe 10 drags or something on one of these little ellipse things filled with that stuff, and that was enough to keep me going for an hour or something. And it's very, very useful, I found. This one isn't actually working very. I've just found the proper one. This is RY4 Bite Extra 45 milligram.
Right. But you don't get that. So I get sort of almost an asthmatic sort of a burning.
Yeah, but that wears off. You get used to that. Probably,
right. Okay.
Probably scar tissue or something builds up.
Probably. I mean, the flavour's nice.
It is.
It's frustrating for me that I can't just... Because when I do a review as well, I like to take a big lungful and then think about what that reminds me of.
Well,
if your lungs are actually on the keyboard, it doesn't aid the reviewing process.
I tell you what, you see, my theory on this is, I mean, if you didn't have the Bite Extra in it, it'd be pointless making it 45 milligram because the two kind of go hand in hand because the two sort of work together to give you an almost smoking-like experience. That's what I think.
I've never smoked a cigarette that made me cough that much. Maybe the first one, but holy moly. Woo. Okay.
Yeah, but the point I was going to make there was that if you're not using it as often, then all of a sudden one of these little sort of 300 milliamp hour batteries.
Oh no, it'll get you through the day. Absolutely.
Will last you, a lot longer. So a couple of these in the PCC, and it's very viable. But
yes.
So I actually
do you think that is how much of the Byte Extra is that in terms of the 45? Because that's why I got the 45. Wasn't based on the Byte Extra. It was based on the strength of the nicotine. So it's an interesting balance.
It is.
And John, it is John from Flavor
It
Art,
is John Tamley.
Emailed me. He emailed me and said you've got to approach it in a different way. But he too didn't want to share that with me until I'd done my first.
Well, it wouldn't have been so funny, would it?
No, it wouldn't. No.
So
no.
I mean, I'm well with him there.
Yeah.
But,
he's obviously got a sense of humour.
But I don't know about you, but I remember I typically smoke 24 milligram stuff, and I've vaped a lot of that Vermilion River stuff. For some reason they do 25 instead of 24. And whenever I tried 36 milligram juice, it used to give me a headache within a few minutes, and I just didn't enjoy it. But with this, I think, because of the Byte Extra, that kind of tells you stop. When you get to a point, it kind of, you think, okay, I've had enough of that now. Not in a horrible way, you just don't feel the need to put it back in your mouth,
No.
and
But
because you've taken the 45 milligram.
Because people have different reactions to different juices, and I mean, I did my first real long sort of session with this, or 45 by Extra, and I was driving. It's not that's for me, that wasn't good, because driving and coughing and eyes running, not conducive to good road use.
No, that was a bit reckless, actually, with hindsight, probably. You see, but I now also make the distinction, like, if I'm going shopping where you might not be able to walk around with a e-cig in your hand or something, okay,
sure,
or when I was travelling and working, like on planes, you want something discreet, I would use this. I would use the Ellipse, and I now make the distinction between sort of functional vaping, for want of a better word, and then vaping to enjoy it. So in this one, I've got this DIY4 that I mixed up a couple of weeks ago, and it's a much lower strength. So because I want to use this more often.
No, absolutely, but I mean, in terms of vaping for enjoyment, I think that's where the difference between smoking, and I say this to people when they ask, in terms of, I think my addiction has changed. I remember when I was a smoker, I would find excuses to smoke or fit smoking in, and I would think, let's say for example, I'd been filming for a morning, and somebody wanted to have a lift in my car, but they didn't smoke. I would on occasion think to myself, well, if they come with me, I can't smoke. So it would constantly be a battle to find time to it, and that's completely gone, obviously, with electronic cigarette use. Yeah. So so if I can't vape, I don't find I'm not compelled to make an excuse to get into a situation where I can use it. I just don't.
Well, you see that you made a comment there.
Yes.
He says just as he reboots the software on his iPad. You can still hear me, so I'll keep talking. He made a comment there that you would sort of fit smoking in to what was going on in your life. You see, I swear I was the other way round.
Sorry.
I think I was the other way round, to be quite honest with you. And I seem to have lost my network password for the iPad.
Oh. Worse luck.
It has decided to bomb. So that means we need a bit of a contingency plan.
I can juggle.
But it's okay. I haven't keyed that network password into that iPad for a long, long time. And it's one of those strings of gobbledygook, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right, okay, so I think I can fade to me now. Yeah, so what I was going to say was, before I really interrupted myself, was I used to do it the other way around, basically. I used to fit my life into the smoking. I can remember being at work, with like 2 minutes to get from one meeting to another. And you would go for a fag instead and just turn up late and things like that. Yeah. Where's the button? Oh, God. It's all gone Pete Tong. I know. Let's use this shot instead. That works. So, anything happening in chat?
Yes, I've got a couple of questions, but I'll start with one that's come through from Lee. And she says, do you guys know when you've had too much nicotine? What type of symptoms do you get? Andy,
I'll let you take that one while I pour myself a beer.
Okay. I find if I'm testing a new atomizer or reviewing a juice, and like last night, for instance, I was trying some juices out that are going to be on my show at the weekend, or especially a new device, trying to get the settings right, and I was hitting 36 quite hard last night and went straight to bed, and I got room spin and a bit of a bit of something's not quite. I couldn't sleep for a little while. I don't normally get headaches, or I don't associate the headaches with nicotine use. Some say nicotine, too much nicotine results in confusion, but I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Okay,
that's pretty much what happens to me. In terms of, I don't get cold sweats or anything like that. Hiccups as well, obviously. Hiccuping due to only if I normally get juice in the mouth, but I haven't had juice in my mouth for quite a while with the range of devices that are around. That seems like a thing that's gone away for us, juice in the mouth.
Okay, well, I've just managed to sort out this problem. It's remembered the password now, which is good.
Oh, very clever.
It's a BT hub thing, which is downstairs, and the password code thing is on a little plastic thing that fits in the back of there.
Yeah.
And I can't get out because of the state of this room. This little table on my right
You're
is
stuck.
actually blocking the door. So I'm quite relieved that it's done that, and I've got control of the cameras back. But the question I think was, do you know when you're ODing on nicotine? And I would agree exactly with what Andy says. The only time that ever happens to me is when I'm reviewing something, and you're setting up and you're trying stuff. If you're reviewing an atomizer or something like that. I can remember the first time it happened to me was remember the Cisco 1.5 ohm 510s that came out. They were about the most lethal things going when they came out, weren't they? And I remember, I was doing the review, and I think it was iVapor that sent one along to me, and I can remember having to just keep pressing stop on the camera because I was so lightheaded. But generally speaking, it's not an issue because it isn't a case. I very rarely get into a situation where I think, I've had too much nicotine, because I just subconsciously really just stop vaping before that point.
Well, absolutely, absolutely.
The people do get concerned about, sort of high concentration nicotine and what have you. It's like this 45 milligram stuff. People say, well, won't you overdose on it? And the answer is no, you don't, because you just stop vaping it.
Absolutely, and you find your own level, don't you? I mean,
exactly.
I was chatting to an editor who's been vaping for about 18 months, and you assume when you start vaping you're going to start high and then end up at your level, and he started at 8 milligrams. So it goes to show that maybe he smoked in a different way than I did, and he doesn't need the same hit as I do. So it's so individual. Take Dave Dorn, for instance, unstoppable.
Please. Sorry. Couldn't really resist that one.
I was thinking, he's having all that work done.
Yeah.
He says it's all for his kitchen. Do you think his wife's going to come home and find he's just converted it to one giant studio?
Well, I must admit, those pictures I was showing earlier, they would have served the purpose quite well.
Absolutely. We could just all move in.
Sort of wall-to-wall plasma screens. And,
yeah. Let's cut to Andy. He's in the front room.
Right, Andy, let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll be back. Which camera? That camera. Soon. Probably. And welcome back to part 3, or as I like to call it, the last bit. Now we're going to go across to Sav. Apparently something has cropped up in chat. We don't know what it is, but she's going to tell us. Tell us, Sav.
I am indeed. We got a question that came in earlier from Mark Shaw, and he says, what do you guys think about British American Tobacco's recent statement that they don't want to just get into the e-cig market, but want to lead it?
Okay, well, I can give you my thoughts on that one straight away. And that would be, I wouldn't have expected anything different. The big tobacco companies don't tend to mess around, do they? If they're entering a market, then they pretty much want to dominate that market, and they've got the resources and they've got the will to do it, I would think. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. Is it no shock whatsoever? I couldn't have imagined them coming in for a sort of 5% market share or something like that. I mean, let's be honest. The tobacco industry is probably running a bit scared, because however bad the Tobacco Products Directive revision is going to be for vapors, just imagine what it's going to be for tobacco sellers. Because although you can argue about the rights and wrongs of it, they're going to sell less cigarettes, you would think. And Andy, you got anything to add to that?
Again, I'll echo what you said. I'm not at all surprised. I think as vapors, I would class us all as early adopters, and I certainly was. And there are people who have been vaping longer than I have. And from the day that I found out about it, I knew it was going to revolutionise smoking and my habit. And you show it to people in the street, and they go, "Wow, I want one as well." So that's going to, as you said, affect tobacco's market. And the whole world is so anti-tobacco. If they can pull off what they want to pull off and make this thing go mainstream and control, not necessarily control the market, but get a big market share, and they've got the money to develop the products, then, and we're not regulated to the point where it stops me choosing my flavour and my strength of juice, let them at it, really. That's what if they can revolutionise this product to a point where it gives me a better vaping solution, then welcome, basically. But they are big tobacco. But if they revolutionise the product that I'm using, great. I might still use a rebuildable, But if they bring something good to market, I'll
I
give it a
I
go.
think you've hit the nail on the head there, haven't you? You know, if they bring something good to the market, and let's be clear, you know, and leave what we want to buy on the market,
Absolutely.
then, you know, hey, we live in a capitalist society, and they'll buy their way into it, and they'll probably take up quite a large market share in it. My concern, if I've got one, about the situation is if it may be easier for them just to toe the line and go the MA route because they can afford to do it. That would help them. That would help them corner the market too.
Yes, that would be the worst case scenario. I mean, obviously, I want to be able to keep using what I've grown to love, and if anybody steps in and challenges that through whatever means that they need to control the market, then I will fight that. Yeah,
absolutely right, as we are doing. In fact,
yeah,
absolutely. Yes. So, Sav, I hope that answered the question.
I've actually got a slight follow-on question from Mark, who said, "Do you think it might affect the EU's decision with them coming out with statements like that?"
You want to try that one, Eddie?
Yeah, no. I mean, relatively new information for me, so I would think that. We all know that governments are reliant on tax income, and if they can tax e-cigs, they will, and that means that e-cigs have to remain.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and it's
Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
You got cameras flashing backwards and forwards between you and me. Then it didn't know where to go. Poor thing. I'll stop pressing the button now. That'll help. Question was that does the statement from British American Tobacco, do they think that'll affect the European decision? I don't think so. I think that the European action is well intentioned. It's just been delivered based on bad science, and there's a lot of people think there's a corrupt element to this. I don't subscribe to that, to be honest with you. I think there's just some misguided ideas. One thing that was clear for anybody that watched the debate, and it wasn't really a debate, was it? From Brussels, was it week before last? They basically are after big tobacco, and the thing is with the Tobacco Products Directive, I think, is that they're going after the big tobacco companies. They're going after tobacco. The whole e-cig thing is kind of an afterthought. Oh yeah, and we better put something in for them. You know, I mean, we watched how many hours of that discussion from Envy, the Health Commission committee, that is putting forward the proposal to revise the Tobacco Products Directive, and I'd say 90% of the discussion was about cigarettes. You know, and then probably 8% was about snus, and the other 2% was e-cigs. So I think with Bat making a statement like that, I think, in all honesty, it'll probably irritate a few members of the Health Commission and make them more determined to bang through the legislation. And some of them, I think, might actually support it because they'll see if the tobacco companies are putting their effort into something they see as less harmful, then they might actually support it. It's just go back to the point I made before, though. You know, I just hope that it doesn't come about, you know, as a medically regulated product.
No, absolutely. The MA route would cause trouble, wouldn't it, in terms of what we've got now?
Yeah, it certainly would. Any more, Sav? I'll get that right.
Just a couple of comments. Very boring said the EU have set themselves a course already. It seems, and BET making big announcements won't change that. And Lee, who I must apologise for and said was a she, who's actually a he. Lee says, I hope they don't just flood the market with disposables, though, as this could be a problem further down the line. Tobacco companies need to think of reusable devices rather than just mass-producing disposables.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a fair comment to me.
There are, I mean, to be fair, there are disposables out there that are much better than the ones that we all started with. So if they could advance that technology to the point that the nicotine is still available, and I'm able to put that nicotine into my rebuildable or whatever device I choose to use, more people will be vaping and more lives will be saved. That's the end result that I'm sort of thinking of. But selfishly, I'm thinking, please don't take my 36 milligrams away, because I can't. I wouldn't be. I don't know. You know. I've been thinking about what I would do if that happens, and I don't want to go back to smoking. So all I can do at the moment is fight.
Yeah, I think you speak for many of us. Assuming that we can't get the nicotine from China, of course.
Well, there is that.
So
I'd even move to China.
That's a bit drastic, perhaps, but
well, no. If enough vapors moved to China, we could set up some sort of small republic.
The Democratic Vaping Republic.
An island. Let's buy an island.
I nearly said Vaportopia then, but that would have been terrible.
Works for me.
So
the name's available. It's not doing anything else.
I did catch a comment in chat a while back that scrolled past. I can read out the big sentences. And I forget who asked it now, but somebody asked why I wasn't drinking this quality beer faster. And yeah, well, my answer to that would be: have you seen the mess I'm making of pressing these buttons already?
This is sober.
And this is sober. Just imagine.
You're doing a very good job.
That's the main reason I'm not drinking it faster, is I haven't got a free hand to pick up the glass.
Is the iPad the only way you can control the cameras then?
No, there's software on the PC, but that's a long way away.
Right,
and,
okay.
I don't actually have a camera on the setup, but I have 3 screens on my PC.
Right. So you're rearranging your studio. So what can we expect? What treats can we expect on Sunday during the tackle box?
It's going to look a lot like this, but it'll be more easy for me to operate, hopefully.
Right.
So, because at the moment I've got like a screen which has got the cameras, including you, because you're running on a laptop and being fed in as a camera. Oh, look, this is live TV. We can do this. Hang on. So, we can do what we want.
We're going on a tour.
So, if I release this camera, hang on 1 second. I'm not sure what people can see here.
Stand by, chat. He's releasing the cameras.
But I bet you it's not flattering. Hang on.
It's like hold music. La 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 la. I'm not on the Buy Extra, by the way, at the moment. That's why I'm not coughing up a lung.
Now, one of the issues that I have currently is that I'm waiting for some longer cables to arrive. But right, I have quite a heavy camera in my hand, which I can't get all the way to me because the cables aren't long enough. But if I switch to that camera like this, you can see kind of what's going on. So I have 3 monitors on my PC. One is running Wirecast, one is running the chat and the playback, so I can make sure we're going out. Sav's running on that screen there. That's the switch with all the cameras. And then if I come around here, you can see a laptop. That's you on there, basically. Yeah. So, and it's all connected up, sound and audio, through that mixing desk there.
And you've just knocked your beer over.
No, they're the empty bottles. That's cool.
Oh, okay. That's all right then.
And yeah, so they're lights and stuff, you know. But,
should we call this sort of, like a sort of behind-the-scenes featurette?
Well, it is kind of like that, yes.
Mm.
So I'll just plunk that camera down where I can. And I'll tell you what, we'll put you back on screen and go to there. So yeah, you get the general idea.
Yes.
And at the moment, nothing reaches.
Right. Right. And all relies on an iPad.
And the iPad switches between the cameras and you currently.
Right. Other tablets are available.
But not Sav. Because she's actually running it. What I need is actually another laptop. Then things would get much easier.
or a studio, which I believe Mr. Dorn's building for us.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
It's
shame he's building it in Scotland.
Yes.
But yes.
Yeah. Well, I filmed a review, which you'll see if you tune in on Saturday for my show, that absolutely everything went wrong. I set the cameras up, I got going, it's from my rebuildable diary, and the floodlight that lights up the room, which isn't on at the moment, the light went, the element went halfway through. The blowtorch ran out. It hasn't run out. It ran out. The webcam fell off the desk, and it just absolute chaos. And then I went to put it all together, thinking, "Oh well, that's quite funny because the light blew. The video file corrupted."
Excellent.
So it's a minefield.
Yeah, I had issues like that with the EVIC thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all three of us on screen now because we're kind of into the home straight here, I think. And,
also, I've got I know we're a serious political motivated chat show
normally,
but I'm borrowing an EVIC from somebody.
Yeah,
and some batteries don't work in it. 18650 batteries, they're all the same, and when I press the button to fire, it stutters. What could that be?
I have absolutely no idea. I've not had any issues at all myself. I mean, some batteries don't fit, sure, but
no, absolutely. The temperature is set to sort of nearly next to the sun. It fires reliably for about 20 minutes, and then it stutters. So if anybody in chat's got any help, it would be gratefully appreciated, because I love it when it works. But I'm sure I've just got a dodgy one, because the person that's lent it to me to have a look at did drop it.
Right. So
it's an EVIC that has been probably dropped on its head.
And you're wondering why it might not function entirely correctly.
Well, no, I've mostly dropped all of my e-cigs at one point, and including my Darwin, and that works. But this one seems to be a little bit more temperamental.
Okay, I've not had any issues at all with mine so far, I have to say.
I've only heard good things, and I was very excited to have a look at one. But no, and yeah.
The only reason I'm not using it tonight is because I got a new mod.
Ooh.
In the post today. Where's the camera? There's one there somewhere. So.
I thought you were going to say the reason you're not using your EVIC is because it's controlling a camera. It's got enough menus to do that. I'm sure that's in version 1.3. It comes with Wirecast installed.
When I found out that these cameras have got a 510 thread, it came into its own. Yeah. Sav, anything left in the chat there?
No, just a couple of recommendations for Andy's EVIC. First, have you cleaned the connectors on both the battery and the device? Are your batteries charged? And don't drop it.
Now, the thing don't drop it. I didn't drop it. I haven't dropped it. The thing I've noticed is it plays up the most when the battery is at 100%. So I'll give it another couple of days, and then I might return it to the kind person that lent it to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and then I might be forced to buy one. Just to make sure. Because I've only heard good things.
I think we're probably at the end, are we?
Yeah,
we are at 10 o'clock.
Wow. I better play out the credits then, but before I do, can I just say, first of all, a huge thank you to Andy and Sav. And secondly, but not lessly, if you see what I mean, to chat. You may have guessed by now that this was something of an improvised show. I appreciate our professionalism may have kept that from you, but we hope you enjoyed it. It's been a bit of a giggle, hasn't it? And hopefully Dave, who knows what he's doing in this show, will be back next week.
It's all his fault anyway.
There's a strong possibility you'll see some of us again tomorrow night, because the latest update I got from Dave, the prognosis was not good, put it that way. He may not have any electricity tomorrow either. I'm thinking of sending him like a Red Cross parcel or something, I don't know.
I'm going up there to finish his kitchen.
But hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've had fun anyway, so that's the main thing.
Apart from the
anything else is a bonus,
chats.
you know. So, yeah.
Thanks for that.
So it's a shame. If I couriered some juices up to you tomorrow, just in case, Andy, then I've got some Diablo Loco and stuff here. That I
great! Maybe I could just use it as eye bath or something.
Okay, everybody. I'm trying to find the credits. There they are. Say good night, everyone.
Good night. Maybe I'll bring the eye light tomorrow.
And thanks for watching.